the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. The Northwest Race Report is brought to you by O'Hagan's Kart Supply, Lebanon, Oregon. You want to win? O'Hagan's wants to help. And by True Tech Automotive, Hazeldale, Washington. Get your car, truck, or tow rig repaired the right way. You're tuned into the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
the Northwest Super Late Model Recap. And now, here are your hosts, Terry Bridges and Jeff Eden. What is going on, racers? It is Monday night, and it is time for another edition of Late Model Monday. I'm your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges, sitting in with my awesome co-host, the Loader, Mr. Jeff Eden. What's going on, Jeffrey?
Ooh, just watching a little bit of rain.
Ronnie Swires, first one in tonight.
P1. Mr. Swire.
P1, baby. Boy, championship night at Evergreen last weekend. First of two, I believe. Because I know the Northwest Super Late Model Series, their championship night is this weekend at WVSO.
Mm-hmm. And then there should be one more night at South Sound.
Is there?
Yeah, Super Late.
Did they have anything this weekend? Because I didn't.
Yes, they did.
Did they have late models there?
They had late models.
Oh. Let me guess. Presley won that.
No, it was the crate lates.
Oh, it was a crate. Okay.
Late models, not super late.
Okay. So is that the West Coast? They need to define that, don't you think?
Yeah,
I mean, a little bit.
I would think so.
I mean,
it would help.
It would, wouldn't it? I mean, because you got the. Okay, so in your estimation, the West Coast late. I mean, what are those? I mean, when I hear that, I'm thinking the West Coast late models. I'm thinking 5-inch, big spring, blah 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 blah. Then you have what you said, the
late models.
Just like Herschel was saying the other night when we had him on last week, where he was saying, a lot of people don't know the difference.
They don't.
Between a late model, super late model, and a West Coast late model, or whatever there is.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
So, I don't know. So, what's the difference, to your knowledge, what's the difference between the two at South Sound?
The crate and the big spring deal, the rotary.
Okay, so Presley and those guys are the super late models there, right?
Yes.
So they can run open or crate, correct? But they're probably on bump stop and all that stuff.
Yeah, they got when you're in your super late, you got all the trick stuff. To where the late model, you're still more old school is the way I call it.
Right.
It isn't, but it is.
It's what we understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because bump stop, bump stick, bump.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd like to go sit down with one of these guys and go.
I would like to, too.
Just sit down and go through this and say, that way, a little bit more knowledgeable on the point, and then maybe I can understand the difference.
Yes, for sure. I mean, for sure. That's absolutely, you're right. Yeah, so how's the week been? Good? I mean, well, it just started, I guess, Monday.
It was wet.
Isn't that a weird one?
Oh, yeah. Well, then, too, like where I work at, usually it's a lot of dust and stuff. Now dust turned to mud, so I had a pretty full day of just getting my roads scraped down to get the mud off of them and that kind of stuff. I had a full day.
Cool. Here's what I know. Daryl Kelso in the house. Ronnie Swires in the house. Ronnie Swires, I'm beginning to think is a lush. He drinks a lot of beer. He drinks a lot of beer.
I don't know. I haven't
if you see his posts, every time you turn around, there's a picture of a beer. Here it is. It's time again. So,
hey, I'm on his side. Just I can't do it right now.
Ronnie, do all the late models cross over to run with each other, or are these differences to keep them at one track? It's not to keep them at one track. I think what it is it's as far as part of it's, I'm sure, skill level. Part of it's, I'm sure, affordability. And like the West Coast late models, that's more when you're jumping and getting going. That's the old school stuff where you can use a lot of the old parts. It's not all on the bump stop stuff. And
yeah, that'd be interesting. I wouldn't
homemade motors, right? I'm thinking
Yeah.
a lot more of that there.
I would think so there.
Right.
That's one of the things that I would love to see. I'd love to see a cube against rule, but make it to where it's not a crate. You got a 355-inch or a 360-inch small block put together, and be it on iron heads, make the motor to where it can't be a $40,000 motor.
That is right.
That's part of it's where it's gotten to me. It's gotten out of hand to the point where I think you lose a lot of racers. Just you can't afford to do it.
Well, I mean, and look at this right here. So this weekend, you've got championship night number 2 at Evergreen. You've got the Northwest Super Late Model Series over at WVSO. You've got South Sound with their final championship series. You've got 3. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, you can't be everywhere, and it's just.
But it's just like we were talking before. You got some of these teams don't travel,
right? And I get that. I get, but is Seattle to Wenatchee? I mean, I know it's travel, but is that really traveling?
It just depends on what your budget
or from
is.
Evergreen to South Sound, or South Sound to Evergreen, or South Sound to WVS. I mean, is that really traveling?
To these guys, it depends on what kind of budget you got. Especially when you got 4 or 5 crew members you're paying for, and you got all this other stuff, and once you hit out of town, or you stay in the night, or you're trying to drag your tired butt home after a hard day at the track,
right?
And we're especially like with the Garrett series, there you're there on Friday. You got a test,
yeah.
So you're, man, you're paying them hotels, food. That's a huge expense.
Well, time out though, because I know when we went together, right? I mean, we didn't travel because there wasn't a whole lot then, but would I need a hotel? Absolutely not. I mean, if it was pouring down, I'd sleep under the truck if I had to, right? I mean, just do it. But
yes and no. I mean, it's just that's so
right.
I mean,
I get the pit pass thing and all that because that's when you don't have any money, that's a tough one. But nonetheless, I'm not scolding anybody. I'm just saying.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool if I could get everybody together. Hey, I don't care if it's just once a year,
right?
Or each track get. Hey guys, we're all going to South Sound tonight. We're all going,
right?
And I mean, I don't care if it's 45 cars. If you got everybody that's from the Northwest, they're all there. And then a month later, everybody is at the Super Oval.
Yeah.
And another month later, you're at Evergreen. Another month later, you're in Spokane. Just once a month, everybody. There's no late model races except for that one.
I get it because you've got other classes that you can run on those nights. You can run the bombers and your undercard stuff there at Evergreen when the supers are over here. That once a month. Yeah, that's a good point. And talking to Nick Ben, and just us shooting the crap was okay. So next year, okay, so. Do we have too many series? That's the thing. Well, but you know what? Hold that thought because our Blue Line graphics in the seat guest tonight is a good one. His name is Andy Soul. He's a former Carter, and he runs a lot. So he'll be able to ask or answer, I think, a lot of these questions from a racer's perspective. Yeah, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
And Andy's coming up at the 7 o'clock hour. Ronnie Swires may even know Andy Soul. Because Andy Soul, I think, was a shifter guy, and he was pretty good. But anyway, going back to what I was going to say really quick was next year, why don't they just let everybody, okay, Evergreen runs their deal, right? And WVSO runs their deal. And South Sound runs their deal. And Spokane does their deal. And Hermiston does their whatever they want to do. But you do it like the old NASCAR weekly racing series. So a win's a win, and it's worth X amount of points, whether you're at Evergreen, whether you're at WVSO, whether you're at South Sound, whether you're at Spokane, doesn't matter. The guy that wins gets X amount of points. That way, everybody can run their home track, right? So then you hook it up, and you do kind of like, I was thinking even maybe kind of like the UAS guys do. So you have all that. And then you have, each track has 2, what do you say, quarter-point races or big races that really count, 100 points each, whatever it is. And then if you win your home track, you get an additional 10 points, let's just say. So it's like the UAS guys. So you, at the end of the year, when it's all said and done, you've got 210 points that are possible, right? Because you've got the 2 at each of your tracks. So now if you miss one and you need to go to WVSO to try to get one, you can do that. It still counts towards your points if it's that event, right? If it's one of the big events. And then you come together maybe at a neutral track where all of these teams, all the guys that maybe there's 2 or 3 or 4 guys all with 210, there's another, and then you decide your champ that way. I mean, now the point things don't hold me to that. That's just an example here for the sake of talking. But, you let everybody run their home track, and then you bring them all together at the end.
Well, the gentleman, God, I can't think of his name, last year did that with the modifieds. Everybody that you raced at all the tracks with the dirt modifieds.
Right.
From California to all the way up. And they got points. But you had to belong to the association deal for him to keep the points. It was a pretty good little deal. But,
right.
But
if everybody agreed on it, it wouldn't matter. It's like they did here. So if you won it, remember, Biffle would win here. Right? And then Larry Phillips would win in the Midwest. Well, a win was worth, I don't know what it was, 25 points, let's say. So Biffle wins here, and he gets 25. Phillips wins, he gets 25. Guy in North Carolina, he wins, he gets 25. The rules are all the same, and you just go that way. And then at the end of the year, you have one big event where you kind of decide, all the guys get together, and it's a kind of at a neutral track, and then you run for the final, overall champ. So then you've got regional winners at your home track. I'm just saying, a guy could have to work it out, but
it's a thought,
right?
It's a good thought, I think, and
that way everybody doesn't have to travel, but once a year maybe, or twice if you have problems and you need to, however the point thing shakes out. But
then again, not to throw a wrench into all of that, but if a guy say, okay, I've got an off weekend and they're racing it at their weekends at the Super Oval. So I take off and go to the Super Oval. I do really good at the Super Oval, but yet I've done really crappy at South Sound. So then you got you only can claim so many races.
Right, because only 2 of them really count, because really you're counting the 2 big events, right? Like what the UAS calls quarter points. They're worth 100 points each. That's what they count towards the overall points. The regional points, that's okay. You still can win your region, but it's only worth 10 points at the end of the day. Yeah. So you could go, the only way you would go to WVSO or South Sound or Spokane or Hermiston or whatever is if they were having one of those, like, I don't know what you call it, a quarter point or a, whatever you decide you want to call it.
Yeah.
Then you would do that, like Ronnie did. He didn't do very good up here in his region at the quarter point races. So he had to go to California and run when they had their quarter point event. He won that. He got his points. So he got a quarter point win. that counts towards the 210 because I think it's 100 and 100, and then you get 10 for winning your region.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the points may not work out like that, or it may not be called that, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
but
understandable.
That's what I'm thinking could happen, and then once a year everybody gets together and, $75,000 plus truck and hauler, tools, spares. It's endless. It is. I mean, the costs are. I was thinking today. It's the very thing that we're doing is eventually going to eliminate us, right? I mean, we want to go fast. We want to do all the stuff, but the very thing that we're trying to accomplish is the same thing that's also burying us at the same time. It's a weird deal.
Well, I'll go back to 1986. I started working at Woodburn Drag Strip.
Oh, hey, he's early.
Let him go.
Oh, what's going on, Andy Soul?
What's up, Mr. Terry Bridges?
Well, hang on. Let me introduce you, man.
Yeah.
Your favorite drivers and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics. All right. He's early, but that's okay. He can hang out with us for the show since we're talking. He's probably got some input on this. His name is the Honey Badger. Andy Soul, what's going on, my man?
How you doing, Terry? We're out here in the what you would call the Badger cage. We're getting ready for trying to get our cars ready to go to Wenatchee this weekend, do some battle.
Yeah, man. We were just sitting here talking, the loader and I, about and it's not pointing fingers, right? It's not trying to find blame or fault or anything. It's just, what are we gonna do to get the numbers up? Like, okay, so let's just take this weekend, Andy. We got Evergreen. I mean, now granted, it's not late model stuff, okay, but let's just say Evergreen's got theirs, South Sound's got theirs, WVSO's got theirs. How do you decide where you're going, what you're doing? All that stuff. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. Like, we were talking next year. What are they going to do if guys don't want to travel? Should they keep everybody home and let them run? Like, remember the old, I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, but do you remember the old NASCAR weekly racing series where they ran Friday nights, right? And,
oh, yeah.
And a win was a win, right? Whether it was in Portland, Oregon, or Monroe, Washington, or Charleston, South Carolina. I mean, a W was worth X amount of points, and that's how it was. And then you do that, and then you bring everybody together once a year at the end of the year, maybe at a neutral site or something, and try to decide the overall national champ. Do you think that's something that would work?
Well, I mean, for me, basically every track has its own, conditions, right? Some tracks are super clean, really nice facilities. Some tracks race rain or shine. Some tracks, crate cars are dominant, is what you want to run. Other tracks, it's open. The Traveling Series, they've put on a good show this year. I mean, I know their numbers are down, but the Traveling Series has done a good job. They haven't torn up a lot of cars. I know my buddy Mitch Klein got messed up in the last race. His throttle hung or something broke, and he ended up in the wall. But those guys aren't tearing a bunch of equipment up, which helps immensely, right? So, and even Zamora, she got tore up a couple of races ago. Also, they hurt that car really bad over there at Spokane, and I think that was a flat tire or something, right? So, it's traveling's expensive, and these tracks and the promoters kind of need to get together and get everybody on the same playing field. But since day one, I don't know that's I'm not sure that's ever going to happen.
Well, there again, okay, so I don't know what the situation is, but I do know that Evergreen is they're the last of the NASCAR stuff, right? From what I understand.
Last, they're the only.
Or the only.
Last, they're the only.
Okay.
Okay.
The
now,
only.
now you need hold on. You need to understand. You need to understand what NASCAR means to a racer. Okay. What NASCAR means to me is it means insurance. Okay. It means a point fund. It means national recognition. Okay. That's the only thing that's the only series anywhere around here that's doing that is Evergreen Speedway. Period.
Well, I guess then I can totally appreciate that. I guess my question is then, why would, with that being the case, why wouldn't everybody else be on board? Why isn't WVSO still on? Why isn't South Sound still on?
Well, I mean, it's the same old deal, right? I mean, it costs money to have those. You're paying a sanctioning body to run their logo, right? So you have to have the draw, Nick is kind of down there, and he's down there in Mexico. He's exit 88. He's a long ways away from a lot of people, but he's got his standard people that show up. And every time we go down there and race that facility, it's a beautiful facility, and the cars come back just sparkly clean. And it's a fun track to drive. It's just, I mean, everybody's doing what they got to do to survive in this time and age of stock car racing, because it's certainly a lot more money than what it used to cost.
Oh, absolutely, it is. And don't you think? I mean, that's let's back up a little bit. So, when were you go-karting? When did you were racing shifter karts, were you not?
Yeah, that was back in the early 2000s.
Okay. Now, had you done any oval stuff before then, or was shifters?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's how you got going.
Well, here's the deal. I watched some, I watched the Hectors back in the day battle at Ephrata Speedway, right? Because I grew up in Quincy. I watched a couple of my friends from Quincy continue to race. The Klein family raced a bit, right? And Keith was a friend of mine, and I watched him race a bit at Ephrata and then Wenatchee. And then basically, that's all I knew about stock car racing. There was nothing else to know for me. I was a Formula One guy. I turned left and right. I was a road course guy.
Right. So let me ask you, has your karting experience, did it help or hinder, or, I mean, what's your feeling on how that impacts stock car racing?
I think it's anytime you're behind the wheel of anything, it's going to help, right? So karting does not translate to stock cars, not even close. First thing I did was overdrive the race car every chance I got, right? Because in karting, getting into the corner is where all your time's made, because everybody goes the same speed down the chute, and everybody accelerates the same speed. So it's how fast you can outbrake. All the passing is done under braking for the most part, unless somebody makes a mistake. So that doesn't translate to stock cars at all.
So you're going to say you're telling me karting really didn't help or hurt what you were doing, because you had to just learn it all over again.
You have to learn it all over. The only thing that it does help is just basically the fact that your reflexes, any motor skill reflexes you're doing, there's a lot going on in a go-kart, especially in a shifter kart. Physically and mentally. So all those aspects translate, obviously.
Right.
Straight across.
So,
but as far as the actual driving of it, you hustle a go-kart, you don't hustle stock cars.
Right on. So it's seat time is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you enjoy your time in karting?
Oh, absolutely. I quit because my body wouldn't handle the abuse it was taking, I just got to the point where, a 15-minute main event was, a 12-lap main was going to be too much for me to give 100% for 12 laps. So at that point, you got to just step back and go away.
So, that's my point. I mean, everybody thinks go-karting to some degree is basically a joke. I mean, they think it's easy. You say go-kart and they go, "Oh my God, what? Oh yeah, I had one of those. We used to, right?" But it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, there's a lot of karting that doesn't put the it doesn't put the abuse on your body, what have you. You know, whether you're dirt racing, you know, with the KT 100s or, you know, and that was where it started, right? A lot of KT 100 stuff, you know, and that doesn't put the G forces on. But when you're strapped to a 40 plus horsepower shifter cart that weighs 200 pounds, yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, and no suspension. It's solid. So, I mean, everything's going right through you, you know? I mean, it's...
oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to fast forward. When did you start? When was your first oval race?
My first oval race, when was it, Wayne? What year? 05? 06? Oh, no. Yeah, Bomber, 09. 09.
Okay.
2009. 2009 was, I purchased a Bomber from a fellow karter, James Muggy. He moved up to the super lates at Evergreen Speedway, and I bought his Ron Daggett built Myron Gimmer motor powered street stock and raced against. So basically, I raced against, at that time, Lane Sunholm was the track champion, and Daryl Latowski was still racing. Fody was racing. A lot of the guys that are still running today was my first year.
Right. So why oval track? Why didn't you go get a Mustang or something and start SCCA or road racing?
I don't know. I think the door-to-door stuff was, you know, I mean, I've always it's fun to race door-to-door, and you know, in a karting event, you know, it'd start Friday, right, and we'd end Sunday, right, and back in the Zaylu days, you know, we'd have 3 heat races and a main event, right? You'd qualify, you'd have 3 heat races, you have a main event. You get done with a weekend, right? And you'd spend a buttload of money, but you'd get done for the weekend, and you'd be reminiscing on that weekend, and you'd say to yourself, you know, how many passes did I make, you know, in competition? And basically, if you were good and you started on pole, right, you didn't make any passes. So, and you start heads up. So, you know, if you made one bitchin' pass all weekend long, that was awesome, right? And that's what you remembered. Well, the first time I got behind the wheel of a stock car, I mean, shit, you're passing slow people, you're passing fast people, you're getting passed by slow people, you're getting passed by fast people. No, it's fun. It's the door-to-door stuff was what, you know, basically got me hooked up.
Yes.
That's like the one buddy of mine asked me what the thrill of was dirt racing. I says, where else can you run full throttle, nose to tail, and you're not going to get hurt?
Yeah, exactly. And that was the other thing too, is I got into a street stock, you know, bolted into a cage with belts, and the last basically what ended my career in go-karts is we were at Pat's Acres at a regional race. I flipped my cart off the back section out in the Thule weeds. We were doing that European qualifying crap, and it was lap number 2, and I still put the thing on pole, right? But on lap 1, and ended up in the you know, the cart is pushed coming off that back section corner sweeper, that left-hander back there, and I ended up in the weeds and upside down and tore up my ribs really bad, ruined my cart, and that basically was the end of me.
So you didn't go in the water. That's a good thing.
No, I trust me, dude. We had a few guys go in the water, but no, I never went in the water.
So now, was Kelly Baker in your was he running when you were?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kelly was a
stud.
Yeah, Kelly came in a couple years after I had started. We met at Evergreen Speedway. It was a first regional race. It was March. It snowed. I was working. I drove by. I wasn't even going to race it. I saw all the tents up. I said, "Screw that! I'm going to go get my cart." I showed up, and I was leading that thing. Yeah, showed up. I didn't practice Friday. Showed up Saturday. Qualified. Like, I don't know, I was qualified, I think, second. And I was in the lead, and that was back when Terry, what's his name? Terry Holbert, right? You know, or what's his name? You know him. Shit, hangs out with Ron Faulkner. You know, did all the stuff with Ron Faulkner. Yeah, Terry.
Oh, Terry Bridges. No, I'm kidding.
No. Anyway, he was there, and Kelly was there, and we ended up doing some battle. I led that thing for all but the last lap. Someone got into me from behind. We were running nose to tail for the entire main event. I ended up fourth, and Kelly ended up winning it. And lo and behold, I thought Kelly was the guy that got into me, and so I decided to go up and give him some of my appreciation.
Oh boy!
Yeah. So we got to meet firsthand that way. He was a rental ride at the time, so he really didn't care because he was in a borrowed go-kart, essentially, cart that he paid to have prepped and showed up at the track. But yeah, him and Bob Beck were two of and Scott Officer. The four of us basically, went nose to tail at every track we ever showed up at.
Wow. Now, do you know Ronnie Swires by chance?
No, I do not.
Okay. So that leads me to my next question is, so where does Bradley Shaw fit in all this?
Bradley Princess. Princess is our.
His name is wait. You said Princess?
Oh yeah. that name is so far that he's gotten that from, I don't know, Nick Ben or somebody, but yeah, that's basically he used to race late models. He raced go-karts. He was nationally a dirt guy, a national dirt guy back in the day. He traveled back east and did pretty well, and his uncle raced, and his uncle's a pretty smart guy, and so they were able to have some pretty good success. And then he raced late models for a while, almost legends, and then he raced late models at South Sound only, and then I don't know what happened. I think he lost his seat. Billy Weber ended up in his seat. And I don't know. There's a bunch of drama there, but it's all water under the bridge now. But yeah, so now he's just all washed up. He just likes to think he's the world's greatest spotter. So that's Bradley Shaw.
I love Bradley Shaw. He's a good. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, Andy. I don't think you have a bigger fan in the world than Bradley Shaw.
Oh, dude, no, he's working on race cars right now, dude. He loves driving the truck. He loads the shit. That's he loves doing that crap.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It takes somebody who doesn't like that. Give you that hand you need.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. You can't really do that. I mean, there was a time.
That's the other thing, right? That's just messed up about this sport for me, right? When I was go-karting, I could go buy a frame, right? Get it out of the box, and I could build a national level kart in a weekend, right? Done. I didn't need a crew chief, right? And if I'm gonna go run a national event, I'm gonna pay, like what Luke Silicon's doing, right? Someone pays him to show up, right? I paid Ben Petter to show up, right? You pay Raleigh to come to the track with you, and that type of thing, right? So that's basically what you did. Otherwise, you were on your own for the weekend. I could go race solo all by myself without any issue.
Yeah. I mean, my father-in-law used to race. We used to rent super sports at Willamette, the cars. I mean, he used to show up by himself. I mean, you can't do that anymore. I mean, those days are gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk 2017. How's your feeling on it? Are you
17 or 18?
Well, 17 this year. I mean, are you happy with the way your season went?
No. Hell no.
Yeah, you had some tough luck. You had some gremlins.
Well, we had some issues. We fought some issues last year. We fought some issues this year. We attempted to build a new car. It didn't get built. Kind of messed the program up a little bit. But we had a lot of cool shit going on now. We've, ended up making a deal with old man Mitchell, Shane Mitchell, and picked up a couple of new Fury cars and picked up their motor program and their hauler, and so pretty excited to bring one of the fastest cars to the racetrack this weekend. And
for sure.
That's what we're gonna be running this weekend. I'm gonna be running Shane's number one car.
So now, does that mean Mitchell's all done?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know I mean, yeah, they're done. They're going to build hot rods. They've been doing it a long time. I mean, you could see it in both their eyes. I mean, it was definitely not fun for them to give up their toys, but that's a father-son duo, and
Right.
I think they're gonna, they'll get it figured out.
Well, sure they will. I mean, they've been doing it a long time. I mean, there comes a point where,
Well, wasn't that the first race there when we were up at Wenatchee?
Yes, he won the
and-
first race there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and they had announced that it was going to be his last year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and I mean, he's a hell of a racer. No two ways about it. Now, you say Fury. What were you driving this year? You have a left-hander at Port City, or
Yeah.
what'd you have?
left-hander.
Okay. Were you happy with it?
Well, yeah, not until Saturday night. We finally got her. Putting times up that was respectable. I mean, we qualified fourth this last weekend. Right behind Garrett Archer and Trenton Moriarty, two of the fastest young guns in the Northwest. And I got no complaints. Right, my 50-year-old ass can still get it to that level. I'm pretty happy about it.
Oh, heck yeah, man! You can. Dale Schroeder said Andy is very good. Anytime he is on the track, we try to get our son Max out on the track behind him to learn what he does. So there you go.
We've got Dale and that family is, they're a great family, and I think they'd be speaking to showing up at, obviously those guys lean on me a bit when we come to Evergreen, right? In the West Coast, and then even Yakima, right? I've got 1 million laps at Yakima, and you know the deal. It's seat time. That's all it is, seat time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, and they came from quarter midgets, which, I mean, people say, well, it's open wheel, yeah, this, that, but still, when you're learning, there's a lot to learn here, especially now. It's not like the conventional cars, right, where you kind of halfway can understand it. This new bump stop, bump stick, whatever you want to call it, that's a whole different ball game, I think. I mean, because that's all I know is the conventional stuff too. So, I argued, is all this bump stop stuff really worth all the time and stuff it takes? It seems like it's a lot of work.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's as much work as I mean, it's work. It's absolutely work. It's a different setup. It's a different deal. But the magic is in, once again, it's just in the preparation, right? The guys that prepare their cars properly and their maintenance properly, and I mean, dude, we've had busted lockers, we've had busted Gleasons, we've had, I mean, it's just endless, right?
Yeah.
Blowing up motors, and it's like, sometimes you just can't spend enough money to get it right? And you got to have some luck, but preparation is key, obviously.
Right. So now, is the window on those bump stops, is the window smaller than, say, on a conventional car?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and the other night when we was talking, the guy was saying, and
Peltier, yeah.
Peltier was saying, once you get it, you've got it.
Right.
Well, once you get it, you usually only got it for a second.
Well, I'm here to tell you though. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's crazy to me, and I think that's what troubles most racers. Is most of them they have some time, but maybe they're not a vet like yourself, or like maybe say Moriarty's clan or Garrett's, those guys. I mean, so it's a big that's a big change, and when you don't really understand what you're doing, boy, it makes it pretty tough. I mean,
well, yeah, I think I mean, you brought up Moriarty, right? So Trenton's a hell of a good shoe. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he won some championships, 1 or 2 championships in the mini stocks. He just sealed the championship in the super late model class. I mean, that kid can flat drive. There's no doubt, right? But let's face it, right? His crew is deep. That's deep. And Tom could care less if all he has to do is work on a race car. That's what Tom's going to do. He's going to beat you in the garage, and he's going to do his damnedest to make sure that kid has the best car and best prepared car every weekend. And that's what they did.
yeah. Yeah,
I mean, they just basically kicked everybody's ass in the garage, I think, and then Trenton came out and made, absolutely no mistakes.
wow. So he is that good.
Oh, dude, the kid's pretty damn good. He's just, I mean, you talk about Schroeder's wanting to come out and follow behind me. Shit, I went on the track behind him, and and you can see it. It's like, I mean, he's as good as Nema. I mean, his ability to put laps together is, I'll follow him and I can stay with him, and then I make a little mistake and he, takes a half a car from me, and then we go around again and I'm with him, and then I make a little mistake and he takes another half a car, and you just wait for him to make that mistake and it never happens. So
yeah.
It's like, what do you do? How do you combat that? It's that's then you're just leaving it to luck, right? You're beating him because he's out qualifying you, and hopefully you're fast enough to be in front of him, and then make him work for it. But shit, all year, they've been fast enough to make most of their passes on the outside. Trenton's had the lead. Didn't matter, qualified fast time. He had the lead, no time. Yeah, it's just how they work.
Right. Well, now let me ask your opinion. I mean, I was surprised that Selikin wasn't, back. But I hear there's some stuff at home and whatever that took place. Okay, that's great. But was he good in your opinion?
Selikin, oh yeah, Luke, yeah.
Was he a natural?
Dude, absolutely. Kid's a natural in a go-kart. I mean, same with Brandon Schreiber. I mean, same deal, right? Brandon Schreiber has never had any decent equipment to save his life, right? Karting-wise, Luke's had the best in the world, right? And both of those kids could run up front anywhere they go, and that's in a go-kart. And at that level, yeah, I mean, Luke's an amazing driver, and you'd have to just watch, just watch when he won that Can-Am race, back in Portugal. I mean, dude, the kid's a stud.
Yeah, he is a stud.
You realize that Scott Speed, came out of karts, right? Went to Formula One. I mean, that's, a guy like Luke is every bit as good as Scott Speed, if not better, in a go-kart. So, and, once again, that's all about, luck and shit like that, because, we ended up, if you ask me, Alex is a better driver in a go-kart than his brother Scott. But, Scott was the one that, he was a little more marketable, I think.
Exactly.
Had to be at the right place at the right time.
And and Daddy didn't, Daddy had shit going on. Daddy's smart, I mean, it takes a full team, right? Parents and money, all that shit has to be there.
Correct. So and that leads to the next one is, so a guy's got money versus a guy that doesn't. Is money gonna make or break?
Absolutely.
I mean, does it
absolutely. Absolutely. Call your buddies with Brandon Schreiber. Call him up and ask him. Absolutely. Yeah, they had numerous races where the Gremlins bit him, right? And it's horrible. It's just what it is. I mean, These cars are not meant to, you wonder why Garrett Evans builds a new car every year. It's not just because he's got money to do it, right? Because he doesn't want to have any issues.
Right. You almost have to do it.
Yeah, and so you get a guy like me or a guy like Schreiber. Dude, I ran my same car for year after year after year. I mean, you continually maintenance it. Yeah, you continually buy stuff on it. Buy new parts for it. But dude,
pretty soon the tube's going to give out.
Yeah, it's spendy. I don't know that the chassis gives up, dude. It just gets to the point where you're like, I mean, at what point do you say, I really need a new rear end, but I haven't bought one. So you freshen it. We call it freshening.
Yep.
And then something breaks in it, and you're like, well, that was kind of dumb. And then you really think of it. I had this conversation with Jason Frazier numerous times, right? He was the same way. He just said, dude, if you spend all weekend to go do this, and if your car breaks because your maintenance program, because you're saving money, but you're going to spend $5,000 for the weekend, but you're saving money in the shop, it's going to bite you always.
So is there, with that being said, is there a fix? I mean, because I don't know that. I mean, okay, so the crates were going to save the day. Now, the crate motor, from what I understand, is way different than when it first came out. I can remember when the ASA came out with it.
Well, no, I mean,
remember that it was like $4,500. You got a crate motor.
It's the same. It's the same deal, dude. The crate package. My opinion, where Evergreen is missing the boat on the crate package is that our crate motors you can't run anywhere else in the country. Okay.
Why not?
You can't run because they're not CRA legal. They're not the crates that everybody runs, like the ProLate, like what Bubba Pollard runs back east, and dude, Bubba comes up here for the summer showdown, right? We pitted right next to him, so I got to talk to him a ton, right? And basically what he said is, why are you guys racing these super lates every weekend? He goes, we want a ProLate. You go and you look at Bubba's car, there ain't nothing fancy about it, right? I mean, there's no fancy nothing. It's bare bones. And his ProLate car is a CRA legal crate, 604, and that thing makes like probably 35 horse more than we make, which 40 or whatever. So it's probably making that 465, 470 mark, and that's really what you need to race with, right? These crates that we're running at 430 or whatever the hell they make, blah blah blah. They don't make enough horsepower with a 10-inch tire. So, in my opinion, there's a huge discrepancy between, an open, it's not even open, but, basically a big motor
right.
versus the crate. And it's, but, we're seeing it. We didn't think that big motors could compete. Well, Daniel Moore went and bought himself a motor or two from Braden Havens, got himself some bird horsepower and showed up at Evergreen Speedway. And, he's doing pretty darn good with it.
Boy, I guess, because I'm like looking at the list every week and I'm going, who is this guy? I've never heard of him. I mean, it's
Daniel Moore's he won a championship at Evergreen a couple years ago. He took one from NEMA. I think it was a year that NEMA didn't. I can't remember. Tom quit. I can't remember if he took one from NEMA straight up or if NEMA didn't race all the races. Can't. The magic kind of fizzled on the 001 one year, and he kind of spent more time with his kids than he did at the racetrack. So.
So you mentioned Frazier. So what's he doing now? Is he racing anything?
He's doing that road race stuff.
Okay.
That BMW stuff and setting track records everywhere he goes because that's what Jason Frazier does.
Wow. Yeah. So you ran some Northwest Super Late Model Series stuff and whatnot. I mean, was it just the travel that kept you from doing more?
Dude, it's the three. You know what? It's more of the time.
Yeah.
And let's face it, right? If you want to go run up front, you need to be off Friday, right? You're not going to come home till Sunday. You're gonna be running a super late car, right? Bubba Pollard, what'd he say? Why are you guys running those super late cars all year long? We run pro lates, way cheaper, And he says the same thing. He's like, we run twin 50s or twin 30s. That's a night. That's what we run. And so it's just different. It's a totally different program than what we got going on. You go to, we're going to run 125 laps at Wenatchee, right? Got to be there Friday. Got to put the guys in a hotel. I mean, you do the math.
Yeah.
I mean, how many, if it costs you $40,000 to, put your car at every traveling series, Mitch Klein's done it for the last couple of years. Ask him what his bill was. I mean, it ain't pretty.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt. You can't even argue the fact that it's expensive. It's just, you're right. It's just so different. I mean, it was, it's just so bloody different. But
hey, guess what?
What's that?
Guess who's here right now? Princess is right here. Princess, say hi to Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Hey, what's up, Bradley Shaw?
Oh, just being bored.
See, man, you see what you do? Your princess status works. You said you need to get the honey badger on there. Okay, here he is.
Oh shit.
Well, so let me ask you. So let's how'd you run Saturday? I mean, I didn't get to see it, but Moriarty wins
it. We qualified really well. We made a couple of setup changes. in the car. Car was good, was really good, as fast as it's been all year. Got in the race. The track was a mess from that GRC deal that they had going on. I mean, it was a mess, dude. It was horrible. There was a lot of dust, a lot of dirt on the track. So that was pretty challenging. Didn't get a lot of practice because it's championship night. They're running a lot of classes.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
we got
What
out
were you?
there.
You were fourth quick with a 16.802. Fast time
Yep.
was Archer with a 16.738.
Yeah. So right there, and then in between us is
A 58, a 96, an 802, a 959, a 964, and a 973. If you ran a 973, you were seventh.
Yep.
Boy, that's close. That doesn't. I mean, that's really
Yeah.
close.
No, I know, and that's part of the deal at Evergreen Speedway, dude, with that crate stuff, right? I mean, it's tight, you know.
Way
So
tight.
yeah, so I don't know. We ran our race, got out there, and started doing our thing, and I don't know. Car was a little loose in, wasn't happy, so had to back the corner up. Jeff Knight ended up dumping us, got a little upset, and had to go back, give him a little love on his door side. You know, he ain't never gonna get, you know, ain't no one ever gonna get away with that for free. So, you know, did that, got black flagged, went to the back, kind of drove back through again. Yeah, it's kind of how it went.
Right.
Made a mistake, spun myself out. I think that's the first time I ever spun myself out. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
come
I did
on,
that.
Soul. Are you kidding me?
No, dead serious, dude. I was like I was known for the first rookie to ever not spin himself out.
Wow.
Yeah, so I spun myself out. I drove off the track, and I thought I had her saved. You know, you don't lift when you're in the back chute there. I drove her off the track and couldn't see very well, and didn't lift, and came back on the track, hit the big bump, and yeah, she went for a ride.
Boy. Well, fourth quick's not bad. So you made the dash. That's good. I mean,
No, they don't do any dashes. It's just
they
straight
don't.
up.
They
Yeah,
don't
it's
anymore.
just- No.
See, that's the killer too, man. I don't know. It's just different than when I was growing up watching this stuff. But you know, my personal opinion, you know, Garrett Archer's a stud. They just can't seem to close the deal. I mean, I watched him at South Sound. He was awesome. And then at the 100 lap mark, I don't know what they did. They didn't put tires on it, or they didn't put gas in it or something. But
I don't know. He had mechanical gremlins. He blew his motor up this last weekend, so they had a water leak or something, I heard, and she melted down.
right. So is he in that same no money boat?
I don't know. He's driven. They spent some money last year. I mean, they still seem to be wanting to play. I mean, he's still a young kid, and he's got the look. So if someone wants to step up with some cash, I'm sure. I mean, he proved himself in the K&N deal. Shit, was he running third at Evergreen on the 5.8s?
Mm-hmm.
Right in a car, and I mean that's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. So let me ask you, we're going to WVSO for the final Northwest Super Late Model Series event. Klein's, what is he, 23 back from Zamora, and Zamora's got 325. I mean,
So what does that mean? Can Klein catch her? I don't know. I haven't looked at the points.
I'm thinking.
They're talking. There's going to be an ass load of cars there. So can Klein catch her or not? Because it's always good to have the last race. Is this the last race? I got one more.
This is it. This is it. And so I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna assume that you get more than 23 points for a W.
Right. I know, but it was the same deal with Trenton, right? Trenton had the championship basically wrapped up. All he really needed to do was start the race.
Right. Well, Zamora's got 325. Klein's got 302. I mean, to me, I don't think that's done yet. I mean, but it could be. They don't give me the breakdown of what you get for a W and second and all that. But boy, what are your thoughts on Zamora?
Dude, I think
real deal or not?
Well,
Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying.
They're prepping the garage is second to none. Her dad her dad is an amazing mechanic, and it's always been. So, did she surprise me this year? Yes, she did. I didn't think that she was just going to come out. I thought she was going to come out and be pretty timid. She's been pretty timid, but she's had good results. So, that's smart racing, and that's probably some team conversations, right? Trying to win a championship her first year, and they're flipping going to get it done, possibly, right?
Yeah, I mean, and even if she doesn't get it, she's put up a season most guys would dream of having, right?
Well,
I mean,
the first race over there.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Basically, she won a race, which is awesome. That Traveling Series, they really got a little carried away how far they're going, right?
right.
So you didn't, let's face it. Garrett Evans isn't racing the series, okay? I don't know. I'm just gonna say it, right? Well, let me tell you this. I bought 2 sweatshirts from Brittany Zamora, okay? Because I really like who she is as a person, and I think she's a pretty smart race car driver, and her dad's amazing. So there you go. But if Garrett Evans is racing, she doesn't win a championship, right?
I don't know.
That's just the way I feel.
Here's what I say. Here's what I say is, I've watched her all year. I'm with you. I give Mike Zamora tons of props because they've been fast everywhere they've gone. They've been top 4 or 5. I mean, right there, and it's taking them no time, even at a track they haven't seen before.
Absolutely.
It takes them no time to get right there and get in the hunt. And you don't hear a word about what he's been doing, and to me that's a crime because he is a stud. He knows way more than I ever thought he did. And
my guess would be whatever he doesn't know, he has a hell of a Rolodex because whatever he's got going on is working.
Yeah. I mean, and he must really understand that bump stop stuff because I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but I'm just from what I've seen and gathered and can look at from my own self, from what I know, that stuff is, man, I'm like, dude, I mean, I'm going, man, to understand that and be that quick everywhere, I mean, is like, wow.
Once the bump stops are set on your car, that's done, okay? And then it's just super small adjustments from there. So they're not, I mean, once whatever, if you're going to bump the left, you're going to bump the right, you're going to bump 2 sides, you're going to bump 3 corners, what are you doing, right? You're going to use springs, you're going to use washers, you're going to use the plastic pucks, whatever. It's whatever program you're going to run, and you stick with it. It's not rocket science once you get to where it's supposed to work.
Gotcha.
But it's rocket science getting to that.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, but a lot of that's coming from your shock guy, right?
Right.
I mean, he's telling you, how high your cross member needs to be off, during setup and that kind of stuff. And, then you go to the track, you hit, so you put Packer in until you get it off the track. I mean, there's just a lot, there's not a lot to that, if you ask me, if you're going to go that route.
Right.
Yeah, it's something to learn, but at the same time, it's not, it sounds a lot scarier than it is.
Right. But a conventional car is not going to, a conventional car can't hang anymore, can it?
You better call Shane Harding and ask, and you better. I want you to say that to Shane Harding while you're drinking a Modelo, and let him slap you upside your head.
Well, no, because I'm with him. I mean, that's what I say.
He's still running, dude. He brought Paulie out. Paulie was still fast this weekend. He got 4th. Maya got 3rd. And Paulie's a 1995 Port City with 300s across the front. Pro shocks and as conventional as it gets. That car don't get upset, and he don't make a change. I mean, he changes the bar like just for fun, I think.
Wow. Well, so tell me, is there a difference between a bump stop and a bump stick? What's the difference?
Now, a bump stick is left-hander. Anybody can put a bump stick on. Tanner runs a shock, and he puts bump stops in a shock that is literally nothing more than a stick. Left-hander has sticks, so the bumps are easier to service and get at and adjust, and the shocks are clean.
Right.
So all it is it's a mechanical means of stopping the suspension at a said distance. If you're running springs, it's the same thing. Bump springs, it's the same thing other than it's not a dead stop, right? And then the bump stops, there's a million ways to bump stop, right? You can do them with steel kinetic washers. That's a an amazing feeling. And then you can do them with pucks, and they're a little softer. And then you do them with Christmas trees, they're even softer. And you do them with springs, and you don't even feel it. So
wow.
yeah, just.
So now I was thumbing through the latest issue of Speedway Illustrated, and I opened the front cover, and there, lo and behold, is a shock that has it's an air shock. It's like a, I don't know what it is, air over hydraulic or something, but it's like you don't need a spring. You can adjust the air. I mean, is that for real?
No, I haven't seen anything like that.
Well, then I'll go re-look at that because, yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It was like an air shock. It was like, you could put different pressures in it and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, man, are we to this point? I mean,
hey, Terry, did you make up with Nick after your last show? You guys bud still?
Yeah, why?
Oh, I just wondered.
Why wouldn't we be?
Oh, Nick.
No, I don't. I don't know.
Well, he's Canadian. If you didn't notice.
Hey.
Okay. So what did I mean, what did I do? Did I say something crazy?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I know, I don't think he's mad, but I don't. So who's going to win it Saturday at WVSO? Is it going to be Klein? Going to be Zamora?
Soul?
I mean, yeah, who's going to win the?
Are you going? Are you going?
Dude, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the 20 car is going to win. The 20 car is going to win.
Okay.
Period.
The 20 car's just got to finish, though, right?
20 car will finish.
Okay. So what's your prediction? You're going to win it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. So Zamora will be second then.
Well, everybody's got to realize that we ain't points racing, so that they got to just get that out of their heads right away, right?
Right.
So there's only two people that are points racing. That's Klein and is that basically what you're thinking? Klein and Zamora, right?
Well, Evans is 297, so he's 4 back from Klein.
Yeah, but
that's a long shot. That's a long shot.
He's still a kid. He don't know what points racing is yet.
Right. How about,
so he's just gonna go drive.
What about Brooke Schimmel though? I mean, here, all of a sudden, she's the only one with 2 wins, and earlier on in the season, I'm like, I mean, they couldn't get a top 10 to save their life, and here they are with the only one with 2 wins, and they're
hold on. She's got 1 win. And she's got a high finish. That's not a win.
I think they called RMR was the win because they counted that, didn't they? That's the way I understood it.
I don't know, but come on, that's not the case.
I'm just going by the stats. It says she's got 2 wins.
She has one win that's legit, absolutely legit, that she earned, that she kicked their ass in. And that was down there at Roseburg on that flat-ass track. And
that was Zamora. That was Zamora. I think that was Meridian.
Zamora kicked their ass there. Where did Brooke win at?
Meridian.
She kicked their ass at
Meridian.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she flat kicked their ass there. She got the lead and never relinquished it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So RMR, I think what they did was they took the highest finishing car in the Northwest Super Late Model.
I know, but let's just call it as it is, right? It's not a win. It's not even close to a win. So they're matched up. The 2 girls are matched up with a win apiece.
Yeah. So
Klein has 1 win, South Sound, right?
Correct. But if you want to go that route, you can say, well, he got that because Schultz crashed.
No, I won't say that, because if Schimmel would have gotten the win in Utah and Derek Thorne and all them guys would have crashed out, I'd say she still got the win.
Well, okay.
But there were still cars going around. There were still cars going around that track.
Well,
so if there's still cars going around that track and she didn't finish first, she didn't get a win. I don't care.
Agreed. Nah, nothing.
Same equipment too, though, right? You know what I mean? It's not like there was any handicap going on there. She has the exact same equipment that Derek Thorne was running. Period.
Agreed.
Yes.
And so, yeah. I mean, I agree. But yeah, you're right. You're right. All I'm saying
we've got everybody's got 3 wins in that series, or everybody's got 1 win in that series.
Well, that means there's Evans has 1, Zamora has 1, Klein has 1, and now that we've agreed, Schimmel has 1. So that's 4 4 out of 55 guys that ran the series have a win.
Yep, and no repeat, and no real repeat winners.
No.
Point days. Schrimmel's got 2 high points though.
Correct. Zamora's got a track record at Roseburg. She destroyed it.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. Would I like to see her win it? Yes, I would, because I've been watching her since she was a go-karter, since she was like a little kid. So I mean, nothing against any of these other guys. I mean, Mitch Klein certainly deserves to do it if he can get it done. But
I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's ever taken anything away from anybody, right? I mean, if Klein goes out and does what he's got to do to win the championship, then that's good on him, right? If Zamora goes out and does what she's been doing all year, it's going to be her easily.
But they're going to have a tough time because Andy Soul's going to win it.
Well, that's not going to be a tough time. They can just battle for whatever place they want to battle
for. Which will be second, from what I understand.
I like your way of thinking.
Oh, man, Andy Soul. Jeez. I hope were you like this in go-karts, too?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, my goodness.
No change.
So we're okay. Lastly, before I let you go, I got one more question. Is so where are we at in the state of late models? I mean, the crate thing seems to be nobody really has an answer whether that's been good or bad for the sport. Where are we at? I mean, where are we at?
I don't know. You watched a West Coast series that you could get 40 cars to show up at a race that now they're down to 10 or 12 or 14 depending on what show you're at, right? So you tell me. I mean, how does that happen, right? How do you get I mean, the Evergreen does the summer showdown, right? We get 30 some cars there and it's paying $20K to win. How is that? Or paid $30K to win. How is that even possible? Right? It's all perception, right? I think racing's all perception. When the masses think that they can't compete, they stop showing up. It's time to go boating, gonna go play somewhere else, do that kind of thing, and that's a sad day.
It is a sad day.
So
a real sad day.
And we're getting there, right? I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's just tough, dude. This sport's not easy. It's not cheap. You got to have dedicated people. You got to have money. You got to have luck. Yeah.
Your thoughts on Ed? Your thoughts on Ed Thompson? Do you know him?
Yeah, barely.
Me too. I just you know what? I just seem to like the guy because he seems like a budget guy. That's just.
He's a budget guy that went to all the races. Oh my goodness. Dude.
Yes, but he just loves to be in the car. He must, right? I mean, that's the cool thing.
Maybe he loves to be in the hauler. I don't know. There's a lot of traveling, dude. You guys went to Utah.
Yeah.
They went to Roseburg, Oregon. Okay, I'm going to say it. That's dumb. That's dumb.
Why?
It's too much money for that series. That's why you don't have anybody. Dude, think about this, okay? If Garrett Evans opted out and it was a local series, right? It was Evergreen, it was South Sound, it was Wenatchee, and it was Yakima. How many people do you think are going to travel that series? An ass load.
Everybody, probably.
Okay, well, guess what? You threw in Roseburg, you threw in Utah, and how many people traveled that series?
Not very many.
You got 3 people.
So why?
Is that what you got? Am I right? Is it 3 people?
Well, yeah, because I think a majority of them were asked.
Is it 4? So it's 4 people. It's Ted, right? Or it's that Tom or whatever that guy's name is, right?
Thompson, Ed Thompson. Yep.
Ed Thompson, Jan Evans, Mitch Klein, and Zamora. Did Brooke Schrimmel go to every race?
I think everyone, but that, or at least the ones that I know. I don't know if she was.
I think she missed one. So you've only got 4 people that traveled.
Yeah, she's been back east there at Hickory running with that guy.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So she hasn't ran every race. So you've only got 4 people that ran every race. That's a 1 in. So let's just do the math here, guys. That's a 1 in 4 shot winning a championship. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 1 in 4 shot of all those teams spending probably $40K to go to those races. That's a lot of money.
It is. But, they used to say the same thing on the tour, right? They used to say, what? You spend, $500,000 to win the 150 or whatever it was, when Eaton and all them guys were spending $12,000 on a set of heads for 3 horsepower. I mean, it's like, the whole thing is crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't around for that era.
Right.
So.
But I mean, it's the same talk. We're just a few
I don't know.
years down the road.
Is it the same talk? Because it seems like we're getting shorter and shorter on drivers, funded drivers.
Oh, I agree with that.
But it was still getting out of hand then, right? They were saying it doesn't make any sense. You're spending this kind of money, and I don't know what the tour was paying at the time. It was, I don't even know.
I don't know that series is not paying enough money. But hey, let's face it, right? Evergreen Speedway paid $4,000 to win Saturday night. Give me a break, dude. You pull it up and see what that traveling series paid to go to Roseburg.
Well, so let me ask you: you win a local show at Evergreen, right?
Yep.
What do you get to win?
It was $4,000.
Is that every week?
No, it's the Crown. So they had 2 series going on in Evergreen this year. The Bud Crown Series was a 4-race deal, which included the 2 5/8 races.
Right, but on a local show, what does it pay?
25. I'm thinking between 2 and 25, 75 lap race. Yeah, dude, Doug has been like more than fair with the payout.
Wow.
I mean, it pays back. It pays $400 to start. I know that.
Jeez.
And that brings a lot of people in.
See, I remember I ran on the dirt, man. I mean, shoot, it wasn't anywhere close to that. I mean, it was like, they had a deal. The fast time started in the back, though.
How many cars we have? 15? We had 14 cars, okay? First paid $4,000, second paid 25, third paid 15, fourth, fifth, and sixth paid 1,000. You do the math.
Jesus.
Okay?
You can't argue that.
And what's it cost to put a car on the track? Costs $1,000 to be competitive. That's what it costs. That's all in. $1,000 to put the car on the track.
What's your tire bill for the night?
$650.
Is that 4?
4.
Wow.
That's the other problem, right?
I was going to say that earlier, but you were on such a roll, I was going to let you go.
Yeah.
The tire deal seems to be.
We're right now. I'm looking at a pile of tires. I should text you over a picture. Wayno's over here putting some love on some tires for Yakima right now, a practice tire, or for Wenatchee right now. So that's.
Well, that's never. I don't think you're ever gonna. I don't know how you're gonna stop that, right? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, my crew chief tells me that back in the day they used to pay. They didn't cost anything for tires, so they used to be cheap. They ain't cheap no more.
Well, I know at Portland when you used to run on the Friday night stuff at Portland, you could buy I think 2 sets to start, and then you could buy 1 tire every week, but you had to run it. You had to put it on the car. You couldn't just buy it and stockpile it. If you bought the 1 tire, you had to put it on the car. So, I don't know. I mean, but like I do, Andy, even in the go-karts, it was like you put them on a spec tire. Well, we all know it doesn't matter. The guy that can afford to have brand new spec tires every race is going to be faster than the guy that can't.
I regional raced, right? So
same difference.
No, exactly. I regional and national race. So there was nobody showed up. Nobody showed up with just spec tire, with
well, if they put a spec tire rule in, that's how it would be.
It was spec, but it was everybody showed up with a new set. Period.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you had to.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know the world famous Trayton Tarr? Do you know him?
I know his brother. I met his brother Bryson when he was. I met him at. I think it's his brother. I don't know him.
Trayton's the only tar boy to get arrested for punching somebody at State Line Speedway. Yeah.
And what happened? Why did he punch him?
I don't know. Probably because he wrecked him. He deserved it, he says.
Oh my
God. So we got one of the Tar clan over here on the West Coast. He's trying to play fabricator, and he swears. What are you gonna do this winter? Are you building something this winter, Tar?
Oh, I'm building something this winter.
You hear that?
Yeah, I did hear that. Well, Robert Copley sure likes him.
He says he's going to build something. He's going to build something, and it's either going to be a mini stock or a street stock. So whichever one he builds, Evergreen Speedway better look out.
He's that good.
I don't know, dude. I mean, he seems to be a fabricator. We'll see.
Wow.
I know. He does a lot of work on that outlaw class, and a lot of the setups has some of his shit in it. So
yeah.
And he says he's been holding back on some of the fast goodies that he's going to put in his own car.
Well, yeah, you never give all your secrets away.
So
and not to mention, he says he's the most talented tar driver out of the whole family. Yes, you did. Who is?
Probably Reeson.
Oh, there you go. Reason's the most talented. Didn't he just wreck the Mustang?
That was Keaton.
Oh, that was Keaton. There's so many of them you don't know.
right. So he's better than Jason Majors?
Hey, Jason Majors, you gonna have something for him?
Who's that?
Yeah, he says, who's that?
Okay. All right. He started it. I didn't. So you better not ask me in a week. Hey, so is Major still mad at you?
Majors?
Well, so would a shock rule help? Would that help keep costs down, or does that matter?
No, you gotta. I think you almost have to follow back what they're doing back east. You gotta have pro late cars, and you gotta have super late cars. And you don't run your super lates.
Well, now,
gotta have more. Hey, I've got a guy in my shop right now, Doug Poyer. He's the champ. He was the champion. Yeah. Do you know who Doug Poyer is? Do you know who Doug Poyer is?
Doug who?
So Doug Poyer won the West Coast Late Model Championship last year. Okay. And Rookie of the Year. And he only led one corner and won one race and won the championship. Okay. And he ran a crate car. Doug is a street stock phenom, hangs out with Dave Lund. I know you know who Dave Lund is, right?
Right.
You know who Dave is. Okay. So basically, he just yelled at me that yeah, we need more pro lates. He's got a car that he wants to race in a pro late type situation, but and he's running, right. So we've got his rear end all tore apart. He had a bent snout on it, so we did a bunch of work on it and changed the tube, and he's going to run this weekend at Wenatchee.
Sweet.
In the pro late.
Sweet.
But yeah, the Doug Who thing, he's fine with that because they can't ever spell his name. They don't remember who he is. Yeah, he won the championship, but they don't know who he is.
So would you be interested in come trying some dirt oval in the go-kart stuff? Have you
that may happen.
Have you seen some of the UAS stuff with the 450s and the Jawas and all
yeah.
that?
Oh, no, absolutely. I ain't doing none of that foolish stuff.
What do you mean?
I don't got a body left for that.
Oh, dude, you'd be fine.
Oh, but I'm probably gonna spin some laps at Evergreen this year.
Sweet. Were you there when Ronnie Cox and Kevin Bridges took their 450s up there and ran them on the 3.8s?
Yeah, I did, and they were slow as hell. And
they weren't geared right, dude. I mean, they were, you know. You say they were slow?
They were slow. Oh, on the 3.8s, or when they came up and tried to run them in a road course?
No, it was they took their UAS carts on the
3.8. No. We had some when the 4-strokes first came out. I was still in shifter kart racing, and some guys showed up, had a 450 built, and they had a 250 built, and I drove both of those on the shifter court, on the road course. Correct.
Yeah, no, these guys brought their UAS carts and ran them on the 3.8 on the oval.
I was not there for that.
Oh, jeez, dude, you gotta. I'll send you the film. It's crazy. I mean, and they said, he said, shit. I don't know. It was cool, but I don't know that. I mean, obviously the racetrack is. I mean, if you were to hit in one of those things,
it'd be bad.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
No. Those guys are all studs in the dirt world, right? Those guys, that's the Ronnie Cox, and those guys are all dirt guys, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, gonna be super cool. Well, be sure you watch my page because I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I stayed just so I could have you on my show, but I'm going down to the UAS Grand Nationals in Arizona, and there's gonna be 50 of them bad boys there, and it's gonna be off the charts. So
Cool.
well, hey man,
All right.
I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for being on the show, Andy Soul. You're the man. Good
right,
luck
bud.
this weekend. I do hope you win it.
Hey,
All right, brother.
I wrote it down here. 20.
Yeah.
20 W. Thank you.
All right, man. We'll talk.
All right, buddy.
Okay,
Later,
bye. Wow. Andy Soul. Not much to say after that, really.
No. But you know what I do have to say?
What's that?
I got back through my book here, and I finally found out who was the winners at South Sound that I'd wrote down.
Dude, let's hear it because I'm going to go through it really quickly before we get out of here and let everybody know what happened this weekend. Go ahead.
Late models at South Sound was Arlen, Kyle Long, and Markinson. Dan Walker was second. Charles Metters was third. Edward Peters was fourth. Mike Keenan was fifth. And David Weaver was sixth, and he was like 14 laps down. Seventh was Larry Lassman, and he was like 17 laps down, and there was like 13 cars there, and it fell off big time from there. So,
Yeah.
but a buddy of mine was down there. He said it was a really, really good race. So
Awesome. Well, the late models at Evergreen had their championship night. Toby Jenkins won the Hornets. Dwayne Swanson won the Legends. Lane Sunholm won the Mini Stock. Street Stocks went to Jesse Jensen. Youth Hornets went to Dario Reddick, who I believe was Dario Reddick was fourth in the Hornets. He ran the Youth Hornets and then the Adult Hornets. So, and then the late models. And a big shout out to Marissa Sawn, Shane Sawn's daughter. Good stuff there. She was fourth. Late models. Archer was fast time. Moriarty was second quick. Dan Moore third. Andy Soul, our guest, was fourth. Shane Harding fifth. Molly Helmuth sixth. And Lang was seventh. That was qualifying. A 738 to a 973.
throw a blanket over him.
Boy. I mean, it went a 38 for Archer. A 58 for Moriarty. A 796 for Moore, an 802 for Soul, a 959 for Harding, a 964 for Helmuth, and a 973 for Lang. Didn't get much closer than that.
No.
The final. Trenton Moriarty wins it and the title. Congratulations to the whole because they were just in that fire. So they had to get that car all back together.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Them and Knight.
So a huge shout out. Moriarty wins it. Lang was second. Dan Moore third. I got to find more about this guy. Who is this guy, man? This guy is killing it. Shane Harding was fourth, and Donnie Wannett was fifth. As you heard, Soul went to the back. He got the fly. You know the deal there. So
It happens.
yeah. So the champions, Trenton Moriarty was the late model champ. Roger Drake wins the street stocks. Dawson Cox and Foster Press win the Hornets, and the mini stocks went to Brad Thomas. So good stuff. Evergreen's got their other half. They're going to be running the Superstock figure eights, the Pro 4 trucks, the Outlaw figure eights, and the V8 Extremes this weekend. Gates open 11. Back gate opens at noon. First practice is at 12:30. Qualifying starts at 3:40, and the heat start at 5. If you're going to go to Wenatchee, they get underway, and it's going to be what is it? I think I got it here somewhere. We're 22nd. The gates open at 10 a.m. They're going to have a barbecue Friday night at 8 p.m. for the racers, a complimentary one. Saturday, the gates open 11. 3 o'clock is qualifying. 4 o'clock are heats. 6:30 is opening ceremonies. And the Neil Newberry 125 starts at 9 p.m., hopefully. Notes of interest, father, son, daughter, all in the top 12. Jan Evans, 3rd. Stephanie Evans, his sister, 11th. And their dad, Garrett, 12th. You don't see that very often.
No.
And
And, racing family.
yeah, pretty cool stuff. 55 drivers ran the series thus far. And there was 1, 2, 3, 4 winners. Klein, Zamora, Schimmel, and Garrett Evans. So there you have it. Appreciate Andy Soul being our guest tonight. What a great guest. Pretty cool. Did he top John Zaretsky? We'll leave that up to you.
He was on a roll.
He was. And he says, I'm gonna win it over at Wenatchee. So
I wrote it down.
the 2-0 says he's gonna win it. So Andy Soul, ladies and gentlemen, should win the Neil Newberry 125. We'll see. Gonna be a tough road to hope. Especially if Zamora or Klein or Evans or Schimmel or you never know.
That's
it.
What? You have fun in
I will.
your trip?
I will. Appreciate all you that tune in. Dale Schroeder Motorsports. I'm going to tell you, Dale, you guys need to keep digging. It might seem tough, but that's your test. That's my belief is when you're getting ready to get rewarded, you get a pretty substantial test to see if you can make it through. So keep digging. You guys are close. Your time will come. It's a due-paying process, and you're just paying them right now. Just stay with it, right?
That's a fact. It just don't happen overnight.
Yeah. Hard work does not go unrewarded at all. So Max, Dale, the whole Schroeder Motorsport, keep digging. You'll find a way. I promise you will. Hopefully next Monday, I'm going to be on the road, so I'm not going to be here. So we're gonna try to make it. I'm going to be following because I'd like to see Zamora win that title. Excuse me, but if I have to, maybe I'll just do it on the road. I can't get you on the phone. We can't. Well, maybe I can figure out how to do that conference call. I don't know. Well, we'll see. So up in the air for Late Model Monday, but stay tuned anyway because we got to do something because of the results. So if I have to, I'll just do it on my phone on the way on the road, in the motorhome, in the toter home, riding in style with Shane Biles and Renee Angel. So anyway, best of luck to all of you racing wherever you're racing next weekend, whether it be South Sound, Wenatchee, Evergreen, and kudos to all of you, whether you win anything or not. I mean, the fact that everybody brings something to the table.
Exactly.
So, you're out there. You're
out there.
competing. You're doing it. I mean, that's huge in my book. So,
because there's about 5,000 wannabes sitting in the stands
that are telling you, oh, it's easy. I can do that. Yeah.
Yep.
They got no idea.
As the one guy said, it's a long ways between the beer cup and the shifter.
That is that's a fact. But just know, hang your heads high, racers. I don't care if you finish dead last. You're out there, you're doing it, and you got to just stick with it. That's the key. And it's like we talked about earlier, sometimes, if somebody said, hey, here's a late model, go run it. Would I care if go for the win, of course. That's what you go for, right? But just the fact of being able to go do it and be in the car and go race, that would be a W for me, right? So, just keep it in perspective, I guess. Yes, winning's important. Winning is what you're there for, but at the end of the day,
don't be obsessed with it.
Absolutely. Keep it in priorities. Keep it in check. So, good luck to everybody. Brittany Zamora, good luck. Mitch Klein, good luck. Jan Evans, good luck. Brooke Schimmel, everybody, good luck. I guess that's it for tonight, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Congratulations to all the champions. Roger Drake, Dawson Cox, Foster Press, Brad Thomas, Trenton Moriarty. Congratulations. And more to be crowned next week at Evergreen. And, of course, we'll find out who the Northwest Super Late Model Champion is after Saturday night.
And thank you, Andy Soul.
Absolutely, man. One of the best interviews we've had yet. So, but that's only until we get Dale Schroeder and Max Schroeder on here. Then we'll find out. But good stuff. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Keep supporting the show. We love you. And remember, if somebody is on the bottom, you got to go to the outside.
Go where they're not.
Take care, everybody.